English, the adjective comes before what it's describing, whereas in Arabic, the adjective comes after what it's describing. So that's the first thing, is the order. The order is different in Arabic, okay? The adjective is going to come after what it's describing in Arabic, and then the adjective must be the same as what it's describing in terms of being, number one, definite or indefinite. It has to be the same in terms of being masculine or feminine. And then third, it has to be in the same state of marfu', mansub, or majroor. So we said that the first thing it has to agree with is whether or not it is definite or indefinite. So what we're talking about is we're talking about the adjective matching what it's describing. Okay, there's a continuity in Arabic, which is it's beautiful, it's eloquent. So, for example, let's say that we want to describe a book. Kitabun means a book. If I want to describe a book as being old, then first let me take the word for old, which is qadim. Okay, and as we mentioned, the adjective in Arabic is going to come after what it's describing, right? So we want to describe the book as being old. So qadim means old. Now we want to focus on the need for this adjective, this description, to match what it's describing in terms of being definite or indefinite. So the question is kitabun definite or indefinite? Kitabun is indefinite. How do we know that it's indefinite? We can tell that it's indefinite because of the tanween. There's two dhammas and there's no alif lam. Qadim, it has to match kitabun. So what we would do for qadim is we would also write tanween. Okay, so the way that we would translate this is kitabun qadimun, an old book. Now let's try definite. How would I make this definite? We would add the definite alif lam in the beginning, and we would remove the tanween. We would take away one of the dhammas. So it would be al-kitabu, al-kitabu. And now, what does this mean? This means the book. Now it's definite. So how would I describe this as being old? How would I say the old book? Well, we already mentioned that qadim, this is the word that we're going to use that means old. However, it has to match what it's describing in terms of definite and indefinite. So qadim would also have to have that definite alif lam, and it would also not have tanween. It would just have one dhamma. So then if we translated this, it would be the old book. The second thing that the adjective has to match is whether it is male or female, okay? Or masculine or feminine. So for example, waladun. This means a boy. A boy is obviously, it's a male, right? It's masculine. What if I want to describe the boy or a boy as being small? Well, the word for small in Arabic is saghir. Well, we learned previously that it has to match whether or not it's definite or indefinite. So we already mentioned that this is indefinite. It has tanween dhamma, so we're going to write two dhammas. Waladun saghirun. So that was the previous rule that we learned. But in this part of the lesson, we're emphasizing the fact that saghir, this is the masculine form of small. Okay? This is the masculine form of small. An easy way to understand that is when I compare it to the feminine. So once you see the feminine form, it'll become very apparent how this is masculine. And this is masculine because what it's describing is masculine. So for example, who can tell me what this word means? Bintun means girl. Now how would I describe a girl as being small? Well, as we mentioned, the word for small is صغير. However, obviously a girl is a female. A girl is feminine. So that means small also has to be feminine. What is the feminine form of صغير? The feminine form of صغير is صغيرة. We add a ta marbuta at the end. And because bint is indefinite with two dhammas, this also has to be ending with two dhammas. One more thing that we need to learn is the adjective has to match the state of what it's describing. And we learned that in the previous class, that there are three states. There are, for the ism, there's marfu', mansub, and majroor. Okay, we mentioned that marfu', the sign of an ism being marfu' is the dhamma, that the sign for an ism being mansub is the fatha, we're talking about ending, and then the sign for majroor would be the kasra. هذا بيت كبير. Alright? هذا means this, بيت means a house, and كبير means big. So this sentence means this is a big house. This is a big house. So بيت in this sentence is marfu'. It's ending with dhamma. Therefore, kabirun also has to end with dhamma. That's what we're learning in this part of the lesson. Okay? The adjective has to match the state of what it's describing. So baytun is what's being described, and it is ending with dhamma, which means it's in a state of marfu'. So kabir also has to end with dhamma. We mentioned that the ism by default is going to end with dhamma in a state of marfu'. So there's nothing making it take something else. In this next example, the ism is going to take something else. وَجَدَ مُحَمَّدٌ بَيْتًا. Muhammad found a house. But we want to say a big house. We want to describe the house that he found as being big. So we're going to take kabir, and because kabir is the adjective and it's describing house and it has to match the state of what it's describing, that means kabir also has to follow the fact that baytan is in a state of mansub with the what? With the fatha. So it's also going to take fatha. Okay? Wajada Muhammadun baytan kabiran. Now we're going to give you an example of majroor. Huwa fi baytin kabiran. Huwa fi baytin kabiran. He is in a big house. We want to describe the house that he's in as being big. So the adjective in Arabic is going to come after what it's describing and is also going to have to match what it's describing. Specifically, in this lesson, we're talking about the state. So because baytin is in a state of majroor with the kasra, kabirin also has to have kasra. Is this clear?